Hello, everybody. Hello, hello. Thanks for coming. My name is Corey O'Connor, and I'm product manager on Android TV for major platform features, including the system UX, setup, and more.
Hi, I'm Isaac Katzenelson, and I'm the technical lead for the home screen and launcher experience.
So I know happy hour is coming up, and we'll try to keep this really interesting to the point and get you to drinks shortly after. I'm going to start and give you all an ecosystem update and walk through some of our new announcements. And then I'm going to hand it over to Isaac, and he's going to give you the technical details about how you, as Android developers, can bring the new experiences to your apps. So there are big changes coming to Android TV, but before we dive into them, we wanted to take a little bit look back this year. In short, it's been a great year for Android TV. We continue to see amazing growth in the number of devices. Our strong partnerships with pay TV operators and hardware manufacturers have allowed us to more than double the number of devices that have activated in 2016, and we actually expect that to continue, if not increase, in 2017 and going forwards. We're seeing this growth both in the set-top box form factor, which includes streaming devices, and cable and satellite form factor boxes, and in addition to the smart TV form factor. Since last year at I/O, we've launched a number of new devices with partners, including the Dish AirTV with Dish, the Mi Box with Xiaomi, and with Airtel, we actually launched the first satellite set-top box based on Android TV in India this year, so that's pretty exciting. The list of partners up here is actually just a few that we wanted to call out. We've also expanded our international footprint to 70 countries, and there are now more than 3,000 apps on the Play Store, so that's pretty exciting Android TV apps. In addition, though mobile viewing has grown, the TV still dominates for lean-back content. There's a recent Netflix report came out, shows that while acquisition of a user can happen across a number of form factors, that could be laptops, computers, phones, tablets, and the TV itself, 67% of long-term viewing happens on the TV and in the living room. Now, this just validates what we've long held, which is that the TV app experience is critical for content providers. It's what you have to nail in order to deliver long-term, highly satisfied users. As Dave said in the keynote this morning, Android TV has seen tremendous growth. I think his stats were 1 million new activations every 2 months. But as they say, the best is yet to come. So we launched Android TV 3 years ago, and since then we've learned a lot. But this year we took the opportunity to take a step back and take stock of where we were on the platform, and also how changes to how people were engaging with content in the living rooms. Now, across the industry, we found these 3 common issues, these 3 core needs that were really going unaddressed. So the first thing we saw was that it's really hard to come to grips with all the different content available to us. So families now have multiple sources for what they want to watch, depending on the mood, the time of day, who's in the room, and a bunch of other factors. And it's interesting because content is mostly visible within the app or service. So what you do is you turn on the TV, and you have to actually deep dive into the app to see if it has something you're actually interested in watching. So it's become really hard to know what's available before you figure out who you want to watch it from, which we kind of realize is a bit of a weird situation. Also, the problem gets a bit harder because there are so many different types of content available to watch. It could be video on demand, and that could be through subscription, paid or rented. It could be digital, web-driven sort of social content, or it could be live television through a pay TV subscription or an antenna or over-the-air source. So as of yet, it's been really hard to fold all of these different types of content into an empowering experience for users. So the second thing we saw is that the emotional hook from a piece of content that we see, it's diminishing. You can imagine that we may have found our way into a list of options. It could be recommendations or something like that. And we're seeing the movie art or poster art, and we're not feeling connected to any of it. Now, with this huge number of options for content available to us, which we love, we like a big menu, but we're losing our ability to make a decision. Now, we saw users with these huge lists of options available to them. Maybe there's a watch list that they've curated, or maybe there's recommendations that they've made sure, as much as possible, that it reflects what they want to watch. But when the time comes to actually play something off of that, they really can't find the spark that they originally had, why they put it there in the first place. So the watch list had become more aspirational than actionable. The third thing we saw, people were really looking for ways to tweak the content on a device, to customize it for how they want to watch. So when you bring a TV into your home and you sign up for a service or an app, the shows, the actors, they become part of your family. They're part of your routine. You watch them every night. It's like a ritual. We think that part of this should be being able to nest with the device, to customize the experience so that it fits with your life and your needs. If you watch people get a new TV or a new phone, one of the first things they do is they sort of move things around, right? You move the apps around, you set the background, you set your ringtone, you customize it to how you want to use the device. But with TV, from a content perspective, people really can't do that. Now, these concerns have been around for some time. We're not surfacing these. These are the only people to have ever discovered these things. But they come out now and again in user research and market and analyst reports. They're known issues. But what we've done is we've taken these issues to heart in Android O, and we've set out to directly address them with a major refresh of Android TV. Now, the first major change you probably have already heard about. Earlier this year, we announced that the Google Assistant will be coming to Android TV. The Google Assistant is your own personal Google. You can ask it questions, you can tell it to do things. It's always ready to help, and it's available across all of your devices, so you can integrate it into your life. Now, what does that really mean for TV? Well, one of the core design principles in bringing the Assistant to the TV was that people are trained from a young age to talk about media with others, to use our voice into discussion about what we want to watch or what we feel. I do this frequently with friends and family. We go back and forth about what we're interested in, figure out if it's a show or a movie, how much time we have left, what's available to us, and we arrive at a decision. This sort of interaction feels very natural. It's what we're used to when we're dealing with people in everyday life. Now, we think that voice is an amazing augmentation for media consumption in the living room. So what we've done is we've optimized the Assistant on TV from the ground up to fill this role. That means with an Android TV, you can use the remote alone to navigate the UI. You can use the voice button on the remote, and you'll be able to talk to the Assistant. Or you can use the Assistant in a hands-free mode to discover and play content. Even better, you can transition between these modes seamlessly. So whatever you want to do, it fits the situation you're in. If you want to talk, it's there. If not, no big deal. Now, there was a bunch of work that went into us getting here. We had to build multiple speech models, UI that's responsive to the situation and context of a user, and a number of other things. But what it's resulted in is a new, more natural and transparent way of interacting with your TV. In addition, because it's the same Assistant that connects your Google and third-party services and devices, you can use it in a bunch of interesting scenarios. So actually, let's take a look at one of these. Let's imagine it's Friday night, and I'd like to watch a movie. I might say, show me some recent action movies. Now, the Google Assistant knows it's me, and it knows the context where I'm at and what sorts of things I'm interested in, like actors, for example. So it's going to bring up a list of things that might interest me from multiple sources. There might be a way to further refine the search or broaden it, but let's assume for now that I see what I'm looking for. One thing to note is the Assistant can work in a conversational manner, meaning that it's going to remember the context I have in case there's a follow-up request. So I think I see something I'm interested in. In this case, I want to watch Deadpool, which is a hilarious movie, by the way. But if, for example, it's a complicated title, or if I'm feeling a little bit lazy, I might just refer to it by the order it is in the list, like I might be talking to someone else in the room. So I might say, play the third one. Now, what's happened is that the Assistant understands where we're at in the conversation and what I'm trying to do, and so it's going to play the content that I requested from the source that I had. Now, maybe the movie is just starting, and the family's sitting down ready to watch, and we realize we want to make the experience a little bit more comfortable. So because it's the Assistant, it's connected to the other devices in my house, and I can control the lighting in my living room just by asking. So I might say, dim the lights. And the lights dim, and we're ready to watch the movie. Now the second major change. They say home is where the heart is. So in order to truly change the way people use Android TV, we had to make a change to our home. For Android O, we've redefined the home screen on Android TV to be a channel-based, content-first experience. This new home enables users to engage with the content and apps that they love, all in the same place. Now, instead of showing you more screenshots up here, we decided, at a bit of risk to ourselves, to actually give you a live demo using a developer device that we have. And we'll walk through the features on that. So could we switch to the Nexus player, please? Isaac's going to help me out for this. So I wanted to call out that we're still putting the finishing touches on this experience. So you should expect to see further visual changes and performance improvements as we move closer to launch. So let's walk through the layout a bit. So at the top, you're going to see the same quick access to search that you're used to. And below that, we're introducing a favorites row for favorite apps to easily launch into the favorite apps right from the top of the screen. You'll see Watch Next below that, and we'll come back to favorite apps and Watch Next a little bit later. In the middle and continuing down, we have a number of rows full of content that we call, perhaps unsurprisingly, channels. So a row is a channel. These channels are the core of the new home screen experience. Each of these channels is created by a media app to display content relevant to you. You might think of each channel as a window into the content available inside the app. Now, apps surface content in channels by displaying programs, which are the boxes you see here with TV shows or movies or video on them. So we got a channel inside a bunch of boxes. Those are called programs. These are recommendations for content that's available right now for you to watch. And they could be on-demand content like a movie, a TV series, could be a video clip, live TV show, could even be a live traditional TV channel. And actually, there's a couple more. Isaac will talk about that later. Now, each app gets to decide what the channel's named, what it looks like, what content appears in it, what metadata goes with that content, and in what order the content is displayed in that channel. When you select a program that seems interesting to you, it's going to launch the app and take you directly into the content, starting playback immediately. If you decide to press the back button from there, the app has the ability to sort of re-engage you and take you to a higher level screen inside the app. Now, by structuring the experience this way, what we're allowing apps to do is surface different types of content in the same experience, giving you the choice of what you're in the mood for. Now, you could see in the same experience what's on your DVR, what movies are recommended for you to rent, and what on-demand shows maybe you haven't finished binge watching yet. In addition, apps have a lot of control about how they want to present what they think is most relevant to you, so there's a good balance there. All right, actually, let's go to the Play Movies channel, and let's select Fantastic Beasts.
I saw its eyes, shining white eyes, and it dove down underground.
Now, what you're seeing right now is a feature we're really excited about called Video Previews. From our research, we found that seeing short previews of the content has a significant boost to engagement and decision-making, and that kind of makes sense. So let's use Fantastic Beasts as an example. I know it's set in the Harry Potter universe, and I love the Harry Potter universe, and I've seen it come across my recommendations often, and I haven't yet pulled the trigger. But when I focus on it in this discovery experience, and it plays the preview, I see the world, and I see the characters, and I hear the music, and it's no longer a poster to me. I'm drawn in. Now, apps have the ability to provide video previews for each program they put in a channel, regardless of what type of content that might be. That might take the form of a live preview for live content. It might be a trailer for a movie. For a TV show, it could be the series trailer, or it could be, a season trailer. And for video or digital social content, it might be maybe the first 15 seconds of what that content is. We think that this is going to drive a lot of engagement for our app partners, and we're seeing many developers integrating already. And you can see it's quite a compelling experience as we're in the discovery mode here over a poster. So maybe I'm not in the mood for Fantastic Beasts right now. Let's actually go to the next one and take a look at Hidden Figures. So you can see how powerful these video clips are where we're sort of previewing the content that we may want to watch right from the discovery experience. It's almost like I'm in the movie theater and I'm watching the previews and getting excited about what I'm about to watch. Now, what happened when, actually, this looks great, so let's open it up and launch it.
What do you ladies do for NASA?
Calculate your trajectory.
Now what happened is we clicked on it, and it launched directly into the Play Movies app, and it's playing the content. This experience works really well, you can tell, with the existing app model. So we've hopped into the middle of the movie. Let's pretend for a moment that I've watched half the show, but I have to stop, and let's go back out to the home screen. And let's go up to the top, please. So what you're seeing is that the content has been added to my Watch Next row because I wasn't done with it yet, and the system is helpfully saying, look, you have this available still to watch. The Watch Next row is a single system-delivered channel that's always at the top where content you've previously engaged in will be presented, and this will be from all apps. Watch Next is designed to give you an easy way to get back to content that you know and love, especially if it's something you're binge watching or actively recording or you haven't finished. In addition, if you haven't watched something yet, but you want to in the future, you can add it to the Watch Next row directly. So I did get excited about Fantastic Beasts. I think it was the preview video. So let's go back to Play Movies row. Let's add it to Watch Next. And let's go back up to the top. You can see now how the Watch Next row over time is going to reflect the things that I like to watch. So an app is not just restricted from offering only a single channel. In fact, it's just the first channel from every app that appears automatically. Apps can actually offer multiple channels for a user to the home screen, which basically gives the app more real estate for them to sort of draw the user in with their content. You know, I wonder if YouTube actually has an extra channel. YouTube has lots of content available. So let's go take a look. We're going to go to Customize Channels, and we're going to go to YouTube. We'll do it questions in a little bit. So we're seeing multiple channels here. You know, today at the keynote, I think Sarah mentioned that the YouTube is launching 360 videos on the TV, and Android TV was going to be one of the first devices to get that. Well, for a demo, surprise, surprise, what a complete coincidence, we have a channel with 360 videos. So let's enable that. As you can see, the channel was added to the home screen. So actually, let's check out one of these videos. I think we're on a Coachella video, so let's open that, launch the YouTube app. Now, Isaac's going to use the remote to look around, and I think this video is pretty cool. It's got actually multiple 360 cameras all throughout the audience and on stage. And I think we're going to do transitions between these different cameras, so you can kind of look around and see what it would be like to be on stage, in the audience, backstage, a whole bunch of things. So this video is pretty great. Let's hop back out, but make sure to go and check this out on your Android TV. I think it's launching in the next few weeks. So the ability to have multiple channels from the same app and channels from different apps allows you to have content for everyone in your family's tastes available from the same UI. So we've seen how, as a user, you can go and proactively look for channels available to you through apps that are already installed on the device. Also, though, when you're in an app, that app can suggest channels to add to the home screen. So a dialog would appear, and you would say yes or no, and if you said yes, that new channel would appear. So in this way, as a developer, if a user is interacting with some specific part, some themed part, or something relevant for you to create a channel, you can actually proactively suggest, hey, there's something you can add to your home screen from my app. Would you like to do that? The last thing we wanted to mention is that there's still a way to access all the apps on the device, whether that's because you're launching an app that doesn't fit really well into the media-first model, or because you're just more comfortable clicking on icons and brands and that sort of thing resonates with you. So from here, you can also set which apps appear in the favorites row we talked earlier. So let's go ahead and add YouTube Kids to the favorites row, because we have friends come and stay with us, and it would really help to have an app that is very easy for them to launch, is very visible for content available for them. So it was added up there. So could we change back to the slides, please? So in addition to the home screen, we've made changes all around the Android TV platform, and we really don't have the time to discuss them in this session, but I just wanted to pick out two examples. So as part of Android O, we've built a completely new setup experience for the TV that's going to help you transition media apps from other Android TV devices to your new TV. During setup, if you, for example, have an Android phone with TV-relevant apps on it, and you're signed in to a Google account when you're doing setup on your TV, we're going to suggest installation of these apps. With a simple click of a button, we're going to install the app in the background, and that app will then proactively put channels full of content on your home screen so that by the time you're done with setup, voila, you're going to land on the home screen, and it's going to be full of channels full of content available to you. And even better, if that app integrates with Smart Lock, what we're going to do is we're going to remember the login information. So when you click on this app or click on a piece of content, it's going to automatically sign you in. So you'll get out of the setup flow. Your TV will have content. You click on a piece of content, you go right into watching it. Also, we've made updates to components in the Leanback library, and we'll call this one out. This is a great update to the playback element that adds detailed seek thumbnails. It looks amazing, and it's actually extremely useful when you're trying to find something specific in the seek. So we talked a little bit about the 3 challenges we saw in the living room when it comes to entertainment, and we also talked about the changes coming to Android TV. And with the Assistant, we're augmenting the remote to have natural voice interactions with your TV, and we're really excited about the new content-first home experience on the Android TV. We think you're going to find that it's easier to figure out what to watch, it's more fun to look at your available list of options, and it's more engaging when you actually customize this experience for what you're looking for. Now, the Assistant will be available on Android TV devices back to Marshmallow, and it'll be later this year. And the new home experience will be launching on all Android TV devices when they upgrade to O, so expect to see the first devices with this new experience late this summer. Now I'm going to hand it over to Isaac, like I talked about before. He's going to talk about the technical details for how you as Android developers can help us create this experience with your apps.
Thank you, Corey. So let's talk specifics. What can you, the app developer, do to showcase your content, your app content, on the home screen? We start with the basics. We are using 2 well-known Android concepts. The first one is the content provider. We use content providers with new APIs for storing channel and programs data. Your app should insert channel and program data into the providers, and the system will automatically show it. The other concept is we use intent to tell your app when to insert your first channel and when your user is interacting with your content. You will use a broadcast receiver to listen to this intent and act upon them. And of course, to make it easier, we provide a support library for easier implementation. But what exactly do you need to do? What should the app do, and exactly when? So to better understand it, I'm introducing Shea Isaac, a brand new fictional Android TV app. The app allows users to watch cooking videos in different categories, favorite them, rate them, and create personal content channels. And I will show you what I did in my app to showcase my content on the home screen. So let's begin. The first thing I added to my app is a broadcast receiver to listen to this intent, the initialized program intent. The intent is sent to your app, to my app, once the app is installed. So very basically, broadcast receiver that listens to the initial program intent. Once the receiver is called, I start a job. I use a job scheduler, or you can use Firebase Job Dispatcher too, it doesn't really matter, and I insert my channels. So I decided to insert 3 channels. 2 or 3 channels is about the right number of channels. I can fine-tune it later when I know my users' taste better. So as you can see, I schedule using a job scheduler a task. If you notice the 0 on the set minimum latency, when you set it to 0, it means that the system will actually schedule this job immediately, which is a good thing because we need the channel to be visible immediately after the app is installed. The job runs a simple task that actually pulls data of my channels from my backend and insert them into the provider. But how do you do that? So how do you insert the channels? So we have in the support library several builders to help you build channels and programs to insert them into the provider. So I use the support library channel builder to create a channel. And you can see I set up the type to preview. I set the display name to the channel name, and I set a link back to my app, so when the user clicks on the channel icon, it actually opens my app. And I use a content resolver to call insert and just insert the data into the provider. And the last thing to do is actually add a logo to my channel. So there's a call for that. And actually, you can either provide a bitmap, or if it's too hard, then actually you can provide a URL to the bitmap somewhere on the internet, and the support library will download it for you and actually insert it for you. Same thing for programs. For each channel, I will use a builder to insert the programs. So I set the channel ID, the same one that I created before. I set the type. For me, it's clip. I set the title, the description. There's way more metadata to insert. I'll talk about this a bit later. And then I insert the URI that will actually, when clicking, will play the content. Will call my app to play the content. And again, I use the content resolver to insert it into the provider. And the last thing I need to do is ask the system to make the channel visible. And to do that, I do one simple call. I request it to be visible, browsable, and presto, that's it. I created my first channel. I want to take a moment to talk about the first channel. When the app is installed, it gets what we call a golden ticket. The ticket which the app can use to insert a channel without the user approving, without the user interaction, it will be visible by default. The app gets one golden ticket, so once you insert the first channel, this ticket is gone and cannot be used anymore. So if you want to add additional channels, it needs to be approved by the user. So the first thing you need to do is do not remove your first channel, your default channel. Use it, update it, but don't remove it. Since my app shows video clip, I will use the program type called clip. But there are many other program types to use, and it depends on the content that you're showing what types to use. And each type has a different metadata associated with it. The API documentations online show very well what exactly the metadata you need for each clip type, for each program type. So just to show, we have 7 types of video programs, from movies to TV season and live channels. And you can understand that if I use a TV episode, I may have the episode number and the season number, which will not be relevant to a movie. So we'll use different metadata for different kind of programs. The same thing for audio. We have 5 types of audio programs. Talking about a metadata, each app has a title. It has a description. It has more metadata, like the release date, the length of the program, the user rating, there's author, there is price, there's many more fields available. And of course, you have, and for the visual part of it, which is the most important part, you can insert 2 different images. Oops. One is when the actually image is focused, your program is focused on the home UI, and one when it's not focused. And of course, you can also use the preview video, which has the most visual effect. The more metadata you add, the better. So my app is installed on the device. The user used it, watched a few videos, even added a second channel using the customized channel. And it's great, but I want the user to be engaged more. I want the user to go back to my app and watch more content. So how do I do that? To do that, I need to keep my content fresh, to update my channels all the time. So what I did, I used cloud messaging to have my backend ping back to my app when new content is available. When my app gets this ping, this message, I run a job. Again, I run a job in the background to pull this new content from my backend server, and also to query the data that's actually on the device, in the provider, so I know what's new and what's already on the device. And I'm going to sync, kind of consolidate the 2 data sets. When I do that, I try to do what I call a smart sync. So I will compare the 2 data sets, and then I will remove all programs that are not available anymore. I will add new ones that are new. And the ones that are still there, I can update them. Maybe the release date changed, maybe the number of views changed. I can do that, update the programs, and also maybe change the order because some of them are more popular than others. And that's OK. We try to avoid the remove all, add all concept or paradigm, because what happens if you do the smart thing, the visual will be better. There will be less visual glitches, visual movements on your channel, and that's what we're aiming for. So I have more channels. I have them with fresh new data. What's next? So I added a feature into my app to actually allow the user to add channels from the app itself. So when the user is interested in the topic or the category, I pop up a view which has a button in it and suggests the user to add the channel to the home screen. When the user clicks on it, what I need to do is a few simple things. First of all, again, I need to build a channel to insert. So I use the program builder to insert the channels and the programs into the provider. And then I do one more thing, is ask the system to make it visible. And the way it works is that I create an intent, which is called channel browsable, request channel browsable. Then I do start activity for result. This tells the system to actually show a confirmation screen. And remember, golden ticket is gone. You need the user approval. The user can approve or not. And when the user approves it or not, well, I can actually know what the user replied by checking on activity result. And I know if the user actually approved it or not and do with it what I want. Woohoo! 3 channels now on the home screen. Good job. So let's move on. So another opportunity to engage the user is actually the Watch Next channel. Remember, that was the channel that was on top of the screen. And it's a system channel, so you don't have to create it, but you do need to follow some guidelines in order to use it. So the first thing I did, I added support in my app to actually monitor what's added to the Watch Next channel. So every time a program is added to the Watch Next channel that it's my program, I want to know about it and I want to track this. So it's a very simple API. You can add, remove, and check if the program is in the Watch Next channel. And you can implement it with a database or shared prefs. Pretty easy thing to do. So let's look at some use cases. So let's talk about the continue playing. So the user watched one of my videos but didn't finish watching it. So what do I do? What I need to do is actually add a program like before, the same concept. I set the type, the clip. I added another type, which is what kind of type it's on the Watch Next channel. This time is continue watching, what we call continue here. And then I add 3 more data to it. One is when did it happen? And the other 2 to help us with the UI is to the length of the program and the current play position. And again, simply just insert it into the provider and you're done. And if the user keep on playing the content, I can just update the current play position to update the UI. Great. I have another card on the Watch Next channel. One more thing I can do is that if I have some clips that are part of a season or a series, when the user let's say is watching episode 2, I can insert episode 3 and say that's the next one to watch. Or maybe if I have at the end of the season, I have in the next season, I can add a card for the next season, a program for the next season. So what I did is actually added again a program by same type clip. Watch Next is next. The type is next, like next item, and just adding when I inserted it in, so that it will be in the system. Oops. And again, I have another card on the Watch Next channel. The last thing my app does is actually listen to the added to Watch Next. As you remember in the demo, we long press on the program, click the add to Watch Next, and it was added to the Watch Next. What happened is that the system actually takes the program from the apps channel and copy it over to the Watch Next channel. We do that so that the visual effect will be immediate. But what we also do is we send an intent to my app to tell it this program was copied and added to the Watch Next. And what I did in my app is, again, putting a receiver to listen to these intents. And the next thing I do is start a job, and I save this information inside my own database. So when this program is updated, maybe the number of views change, I get a refresh of the image, I can actually also update it in the Watch Next channel so the content will be fresh. OK, so let's recap. What should an Android TV app do? So first of all, it needs to add channel right after install, at least one. Keep the channels up to date, refreshed, engage the user. The app can suggest more channels inside the app. Use the Watch Next channel to engage the user to continue watching the content. And listen and react to user interactions. And of course, do not remove your first channel. Thank you for coming and listening. If you'd like to learn more, we have Sandbox area. We're going to see the demo again. We have Code Labs. You can actually go and build your own TV app. And you can come to the office hours. I'll be there, and you can ask questions. Or you can go online and see the documentations. Thank you so much for coming.